This is a tree. It has roots, a stem, branches and leaves. Well, obviously it doesn't have leaves right now. Müssen wir das im Winter drehen?
And this is a Frenchman in an Italian bakery. He is about to buy bread from an Italian baker.
Pain. Pain? Pain. Ah, pane.
Why do the two understand each other? And why is the word for bread in French and Italian so similar?
Surprisingly, trees can give us the answer. Well, not this tree, but phylogenetic trees.
Italian and French are part of the same language family, the Indo-European family. All Indo-European languages have a common ancestor, Proto-Indo-European, which was spoken several thousand years ago, presumably in Eastern Europe. At one point in history, the speakers of Proto-Indo-European became isolated from each other. Regional dialects emerged, and each dialect underwent independent changes. Dialects added new vocabulary, while old one was abandoned. Pronunciation and grammar changed. Dialects diverged so much that they were not mutually intelligible anymore. A new language was born. Over many centuries, this process continued. Languages split and diverged, split and diverged, and split and diverged. Finally, this resulted in the modern Indo-European descendants: English, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Russian, Persian, or Hindi, to name but a few. We can model this shared descent with modification in a phylogenetic tree. A phylogenetic tree captures the evolutionary history of a language family and the relationship between the members of the family. Similar to a real tree, a phylogenetic tree has a root, which is the common ancestor. In the case of Indo-European, the root is Proto-Indo-European. Over time, the root splits into branches, which lead to the leaves, the currently spoken languages. We have seen that phylogenetic trees capture the history of a language family. But how do we actually find these trees? How do we know that the tree in this picture explains the evolutionary history of Indo-European? We can look at cognates. Cognates are words that share a similar meaning, spelling and pronunciation, and are known to have a common origin. We find many cognates between French and Italian, which tells us that they are closely related. The number of cognates between two languages also tells us how far back in time we find a common ancestor. The many cognates between French and Italian tell us that they have split not so far back in time. In this specific case, we know the common ancestor very well. It is Latin, which was spoken around 2000 years ago. To find the common ancestor between French, Italian, English and German, we'd have to go much further back in time, almost to the root of the Indo-European tree. There are only very few cognates left that are still shared in all of these languages. Over such a long time, languages have diverged significantly and they have come up with very different words for the same things. Researchers use sophisticated phylogenetic algorithms to reconstruct the evolutionary history of a language family. Phylogenetic algorithms propose myriads of different trees and evaluate how well each of them fits the cognates in the family. Unlike in this simple example, there is usually no single best tree to explain all cognates. Instead, phylogenetic algorithms return a distribution of probable trees, and thus probable evolutionary histories. In the next video, we will see that phylogenetic trees can tell us all sorts of interesting things about language evolution, how old the language family is, where it comes from, and how its words, sounds and grammar have changed over time.
Thanks for watching. Frenchman, on y va!